Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dennis and welcome back to Racer or Random SCP review. So this is part 3 of SCP-3890. No, this is actually part 2. Okay, so yeah, part 2, and we will continue with this one in this one. But to recap or summary, pretty much what happened in the part 1 is that 3890 is a desert, or not really desert but more like um, semi-desert, but also there's like buildings, I guess. So think about it as, do you guys know the movie The Maze Runner, The Scott's Trial, which is the second in the series? So I would say that this can be that, in which there is like a civilization, but it's also in a deserted place pretty much. So yeah, with the difference is that there is no people here. Well, there are some people, but they kind of lost their memory as well. And apparently there is this kind of predator that is called Dash 2. So 3890 is the desert or the location, and then Dash 1 is people that lost their memory, and then Dash 2 is predators that feeds upon memories of its victims. In this case, people in Dash 1, they are not physically hurt until they die, I don't think, but they will be hurt like necessarily just so that Dash 2 can fit upon their memory pretty much, which is interesting. So I pretty much got multiple references from this one. It's like this SCP took more than one reference, which is interesting in this case. So yeah. Okay, so this is offset 2. Let's read again. SCP-3890 object class is still Keter. Periodically, I am to note down all vital memories so as to preserve a written record in the event that they are erased by Dash 2, which is the Predator. That's actually a smart idea. Just to write anything that you can remember right now, so that when you lost that memory you can still be reminded of something pretty much. That's why we saw so many offsets like this. However, I have a terrible feeling about this one, because you guys remember the previous SP that we um, the previous SCP that we review. There, unfortunately, the main character eventually, went away because they try to fight this thing off, but at the end, it doesn't really matter, and the person just gone. However, we can still see the journal, which is maybe what's gonna happen here as well. We can still see the writing. However, eventually the doctor will cease to exist as well, because eventually they will lose all of their memories and then get converted into Dash 1 pretty much. So yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. Maybe it hopefully it ends like in this part as well, so that we don't have to make part 3, but we shall see. um I am to watch for its presence at all times. Currently, I'm taking refuge in what looks like a modern bank located within 3890. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much like an abandoned place that is deserted, pretty much. There are the corpses of a family here. I cannot deny that this seems like a better option than wandering 3890 for eternity. Yeah, that's actually okay as well. I'm to kill anything that attempts to enter my shelter. I can risk letting Dash 2 in. I don't think it's here yet. I tested the corpses. Oh, okay. So the family decided to go. Even before the predator came, pretty much. Okay, that's interesting. Description: I've lost all memories regarding how I came to be employed by the Foundation. I know that I am Foundation researcher with level 3 clearance, but I simply cannot recall how I came to be in this position. Many of the CP objects I work with are also missing from my memory. That's unfortunate, but alright. Um, I can tell there is a hole there, but I just don't know what was there before. No matter what I do, Dash 2 sneaks up on me. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that Dash 2 apparently Apparently, they are shape shifter, and it seems like once you're attacked, they will still locking the target on you until you are nothing left with memories, pretty much. So yeah, by the looks of thing, I feel like this will not have a good ending for the Doctor. I feel like towards the end of the story, it just pretty much mentions that the researcher doesn't know who they are, and yeah, pretty much it. But yeah, it's simply too difficult to avoid while making my way through 3890. The thing can be a grain of sand. I'd hope to reach an end to SCP-3890 if I walk far enough, but I can see now that that just isn't happening. It's not much of a surprise. I've heard of plenty of spaces that go on forever over my years, decades in the Foundation. Yeah, they start losing it. Realms of infinite ice, infinite water, infinite potatoes. I suppose I've just been unlucky enough to find myself in a realm of infinite desert. Even if it's not infinite, I would never make it to the end. The mimic would empty me out far before then. Yeah, the predator. I don't think I'm getting out of here. You hear horror stories about the things that have happened to other researchers, how they end up, but those are always things that happen to other people. Cautionary tales, I guess, I'm a cautionary tale now, even if I don't know what I did wrong. Even now, I can't stop looking at the bricks, the windows. Oh, okay, by the way, why didn't they just. Oh, yeah, okay, so I forgot. The thing can shape shift, and if you shapeshift into like a tiny piece of, I don't know, cloth, you can just get drifted your way through, like, let's say the shelter, or you can also transform into water pretty much, and then you can move into the shelter and then pretty much attack the person. So yeah, it's a little bit too overpowered. The creature is, like, also the fact that them shape shifting but can also change their volumes and also maybe mass as well, which is a little bit too OP as well. But yeah, any of them could be SCP-38902. Hell, my shoes could be Dash 2. I can remember the last time I let go of my knife. It's stained red now from testing the corpses. The sun's going down. I cannot allow myself to fall asleep. Desto will come in without a doubt if I do. I don't have to eat, I don't have to drink, but I still have to sleep. This place is designed for the mimic's benefit. It can hand its prey to its heart content without them dying of thirst and starvation. Is this an enclosure? Maybe some kind of sick game? My name is Elizabeth Graham. My name is Elizabeth Graham. My name is Elizabeth Graham. I can't forget that now. This page is my memory. I can hear something crying outside. I don't know what's going to happen to me. And this is another offset, I think. Maybe offset 3. But yeah, okay, my internet is just acting up just like previously as well, which, unfortunately I have no control of this if this happens, so you guys just have to bear with me, okay? Yeah, like no internet, like no internet my ass. I have internet in my house, so yeah. um Anyway, offset number 3. This is the fourth page, pretty much the third additional page. Okay, another one. Still Kitter, and then myself and Tony are to remain within our current shelter at all times. We have agreed on a password system to confirm our identities to each other. Okay, so they meet. They met another person then, which is interesting. We are to sleep in shifts and watch for the mimic at all times. The crying. Oh, okay. So someone that's crying was the. Okay. The crying was a child, Tony, 10 years old, not the mimic. The mimic can't speak. It just attacks silently. Okay. According to Tony, he was walking home from the playground when he was transported here. If you think about it, this also can feel like back rooms. So yeah, you know, instead of a room, a closed maze, it is actually an open desert, pretty much, which is interesting. um, it's a similar story to mine. Is there some connection with traveling and being taken to this place, or is that part just a coincidence? Perhaps the mimic somehow changes our destination to this place and route. Metaphysically, I mean. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, or maybe I do and I forgot. Tony's asleep right now. We've barely spoken. Of course, the kid is traumatized, but I almost forgot how it feels not to be alone, not to be hunted. Well, we're still being hunted, of course, but now we're being hunted together. Now it can get us both. Now we can watch for it together, okay? Our chances of survival have doubled, yeah, because there's another person, pretty much. It means that, if it attacks, you can just sacrifice the other person or, just help attacking it. But then again, how do you attack something that can shapeshift into literally anything? So yeah, um, survival isn't the thing we're fighting for. Of course, the mimic doesn't want to kill us. Yeah, like I said as well. Just empty out our heads. I don't even know if people age here. How long have the other people, the wandering ones, been here? Years, decades, centuries? I should have examined them more closely before hiding myself away in some bank. I'm a doctor, for God's sake. Even if I can remember all my training. Yeah, it also makes sense. Like, um, I know this is like maybe a bad idea. I feel like because there's other people you can just that person, and then you try to identify if the person came from certain time in the timeline, like maybe the person came from the future, maybe, or maybe the person came from the past. You will be able to tell probably, by identifying, like maybe from the clothes, maybe from the belongings that they are holding at the time, or yeah, with anything pretty much. So yeah. Um, my name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. I have this memory from my childhood still. Everything around it is gone, but it's sort of floating free, devoid of context. I'm visiting a woman in a hospital. I think it's a hospital, and I think it's a woman, and I know a close relative, my mother or my grandmother, I think. And I go to visit her. I'm just a kid, 12, I think, and she doesn't know who I am at all. I don't remember what happened before that or after. I don't remember thinking that that was the worst thing in the world. Was that why it brought me here, the mimic? Because it knew this would be something I would hate the most. I know it must be intelligent, but is it sadistic as well? I'll ask Tony tomorrow if he has Miller's memory. Then hopefully I'll be a little closer to working out the rules of this place. Whatever's going on here, I'm going to beat it. If you're reading this, you fucker, I'm going to beat you. The mimic, pretty much the predator, the dash too. Okay, there's another one here. I think this one will be the last. I mean the last that I will read, like right now. I will, if there is some more, I will continue that in another episode as well. But so far, I'm actually sold with this story because, for one, it kind of similar with the previous one, the 18th entry, pretty much about the rain. So yeah, about the city in Clearwater, Montana. So yeah, um, I wonder if this will end up the same as that. Well, literally, this came before that. So, oh, actually, no, never mind. It was SCP-3300. So, yeah, this is actually later after that. That's interesting. Um, okay, item SCP, object class. Okay, so the person start losing their mind. Okay, yeah. Item SCP, they already forgot what SCP it is. Object class, like forget as well. Let's see in the end if there is anything else. There is still something. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, my special containment procedures is Dr. Elizabeth Grant and my grandmother. Maybe from what I've seen so far, Tony, and the Eric Shan Bank. Devoid of context, grain of sand floating free, a patch of dirt on my brain. I am to kill anything. Um, Description. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. In terms of geography, Dash 2 has the ability to, as far as I can tell, mimic any object. It's simply too difficult to avoid while making my way, though all my training still. So far, I've seen it disguise me as Dr. Elizabeth Graham, Dr. Elizabeth Graham, Dr. Elizabeth Graham Foundation, Dr. Elizabeth Graham. Dash 1 is my collective designation for the autopsy of one specimen of Dash 2. Dash 2 uses significant chunks of my childhood and early adulthood as a form of attack. It's not much of a surprise. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Graham. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, or maybe I do, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. The mimic doesn't want to kill us. Just empty out our 3890. I will retreat from the area immediately. Currently, I'm the corpses of a family. Currently, I am Dr. Elizabeth Graham. The crying was Dr. Elizabeth Graham, not Tony. Everything around it is gone, but it's sort of floating free, devoid of context. That was the worst thing in the world. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've noted the presence of an infinite desert. There's no way out of here, darling. Okay, you know what? Let's just finish this. I feel like this will end short after that because we know that uh, the main character Elizabeth Graham, if you haven't noticed, starts to losing their mind because they started. I think they started to lose important memory about maybe like cognitive, like I don't know, like the memory about the ability of making things rational. I feel like, yeah, like what is it called again? Like an acute schizophrenia, I would say, or what is it called again? The one in which you forgot, Alzheimer, pretty much. So yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, 3890 object class Keter. Special containment procedures. I'm going to kill the mimic. Description. I woke up this morning. Tony was gone. He was the mimic. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, but what about the voice though? Um, it was smarter than I thought. I guess I was stupid. I should have seen this coming, but I was desperate and it knew it. All it left was some scrawled document and a hole in my head the shape of my name. My name is. I don't know what my name is. Yeah, okay, so what happened before in offset number 4 is Tony, quote unquote Tony, decided to, which is the mimic, try to attack Elizabeth, well, maybe when she's or when they're sleeping. So yeah, that's why the scribble, because yeah, it was messed up. But it's unfortunate though, and there's still some more. But because there's still some more here, I think I'm going to leave this one here. This is actually an interesting one. Yeah, as you can see, the rating is 414. Maybe the story just keeps going to offset, like, let's say 27. I'm not sure, but just to be safe, I think I will just leave it here. um, we know from the first page of this SCP in which it says that as for now there is no way to contain this. It makes sense because this is like literally a desert with building in it. So how would you like what is it, like, contain this kind of area? So yeah, I would say that this is like, let's just say that this is a back room, but instead of the back room, it's a desert. So desert room, I guess, or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, I think that'll be it for this episode of Racer Random SCP Review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned. I will see you again in the episode 3 or part 3 of the SCP Review, Random SCP Review, talking about 3890. And hopefully the next part, it is completed, it's finished. Because it feels like we're almost there. It feels like we're close to the end because we know that the main character started to losing important memories, like, let's say, the name. So yeah, we'll actually talk about that later on as well. I will reread this again in the next one, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, until then, see ya.